Welcome to Australia for the one-day international between Australia and India. Is the opening bowler for India. So they need 327 to win from 300 balls. That's a lovely way to get off the mark. That's a lovely way to get off the mark. Collected by Hayden. I think he was easily back in the crease there. I think he was easily back in the crease there. 49 overs are left in the innings. Tendulkar waiting at the striker's end. The required run rate has crept up to around 6.5 and over. He's worked that into the gap. Lee to Ganguly. Lee to Ganguly. It's straight at Martin. Ganguly waiting at the striker's end. Lee to Ganguly. He looked as if he was home to me. 48 overs are left in the innings.
The openers will be looking to take advantage of the fielding restrictions early on.
McGrath to begin a new over. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. Stopped by Martin. Superb shot. Tendulkar moves into double figures with those runs. McGrath at the start of his run-up. McGrath continues. It's straight to a fielder. McGrath continues.
India will be looking to blast away from the start with fielding restrictions in place.
Lee to begin a new over. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. There it goes. That's the first boundary for Ganguly. There it goes. Ganguly won't miss anything bowled 2-4.
He should be looking to bowl a tighter line at this stage.
Lee to bowl to Ganguly. hit straight at Lehman. 46 overs are left in the innings. McGrath to begin a new over. The run rate stands at just under 6.5 and over. That's a huge six.
That's a demoralising sight for any bowler, seeing the ball sail over the fence.
It's in the air. The bowler won't like that one little bit.
That's a demoralising sight for any bowler, seeing the ball sail over the fence.
McGrath at the start of his run-up. Overpitched and 4. Ganguly has now moved into the 20s. That's the end of the 5th over. Lee to begin a new over. Now the run rate stands at just over 6 and over. Great shot by Tendulkar. Picked up very early by Tendulkar.
That was beautifully played. He was well over the top of the ball.
Stopped by Gillespie. There's a mix-up with the batsman. The umpire is calling for the third umpire. They can't afford to go throwing away wickets. Tendulkar is now facing. Lee continues. That's gone high in the air. And that really was a super stroke.
Well, that was a pretty poor delivery. It just sat up and asked to be smashed.
That's gone high in the air. Tendulkar has moved into the 20s and is starting to look far more relaxed. 44 overs are left for India.
That wasn't a very good over at all. Far too expensive.
McGrath to begin a new over. The required run rate is around 6 and over. There it goes.
The bowler won't like that one little bit.
That's straight up in the air. That wasn't a very good delivery.
He really laid into that delivery. 4 runs all the way.
McGrath is back in the attack. That's straight up in the air. You can't afford to bowl that in there.
Cracking shot. He's in great form.
McGrath continues. Oh. That over eased the pressure on the batting team.
The bowler didn't keep it tight enough there. I'd be surprised if he stays in the attack.
Lee to begin a new over. Now the run rate stands at just over 6 and over. Not timed perfectly, but they'll get some runs anyway. There it goes. Safely taken by Martin.
Superb stuff. What a catch. That'll give his team a huge boost.
So then, that's the end of Ganguly. Laxman takes guard. Stopped by Lehman. That's gone high in the air. That came right off the middle of the bat.
Well, you can't set fields for shots like that. That's brilliant.
Lee to bowl to Laxman. .42 overs are left in the innings. McGrath to begin a new over. Now the run rate stands at just over 6 and over. The batsmen are looking for 3. He's going to have to move here. He was struggling there, but somehow he's got away with it. The total is now 1 for 72. It's in the air. Laxman moves into double figures with those runs. The batsmen will have to run these. The batsmen are coming back for a second. Fielded by Lee. That's gone high in the air. He watched that onto the bat perfectly.
That looked like 4 the moment he struck.
13 runs came from that over. Lee to begin a new over. The run rate stands at just under 5.5 and over. He smashed that one right out of the ground. That easily cleared the boundary.
That was a super shot. I really didn't think it was too bad a ball.
Amazing catch.
That was an important catch. He did very well to hang on to it.
Tendulkar makes his way back to the dressing room. Dravid takes guard. Dravid facing. Stopped by Ponting. That's the end of the 10th over. McGrath to begin a new over. The required run rate is around 5.5 and over. Oh! That's cleared the rope. 6 runs. That was still going up as it cleared the rope.
It doesn't really matter if it goes in the air if you hit it that far.
It's high in the air. Laxman has now moved into the 20s. That's gone high in the air. Well, that was 6 as soon as he hit it.
Well, he really hit that a long way. Exciting stuff.
A long hop and punish. You really can't afford to pitch short on this track.
Well, that was short and just asked to be hit.
39 overs are left for India. We're about to see the first bowling change. Now the run rate stands at just over 5.5 and over. There it goes. That's the first boundary for Dravid. Gillespie to bowl to Dravid. There it goes. Fielder hardly had a chance to move there.
The bowler didn't do too much wrong there. It was just an excellent shot.
Nine runs came from that over by Gillespie. Dravid facing. The required run rate is around 5.5 and over. It's in the air. And they were diving for cover in the stand there.
He smashed that a long way. Great to watch for the neutral, but the bowler won't be too happy.
That's gone high in the air. That went a long way back into the stands.
He smashed that a long way. Great to watch for the neutral, but the bowler won't be too happy.
2 for 29. McGrath at the start of his run-up. Hit straight at Lehman. McGrath continues. That's cleared the rope. 6 runs.
It doesn't really matter if it goes in the air if you hit it that far.
Expertly held.
That was a really good effort by the fielder. He did well to cling on to it.
Dravid goes for 26. That's straight up in the air. That's the first boundary for Adani. 22 runs came from that over for India. Gillespie to begin a new over. The required run rate is around 5 and over. There it goes. Gillespie is not impressed.
The straight drive's not the easiest shot to play, but that was perfect. Full face of the bat and good footwork.
Gillespie continues. Well held. Laxman is making his way back to the pavilion.
A slight fumble, but safely taken in the end.
Shiwog takes his place at the crease. That's straight up in the air. That's the first boundary for Shiwog. Gillespie at the start of his run-up. There it goes. Gillespie to bowl to Adani. There it goes. Just over-pitched by Gillespie.
That'll be a real confidence booster for him. Should get rid of any nerves.
13 runs came from that over by Gillespie. We're about to see a change in the bowling. Now the run rate stands at just over 4.5 and over. That's cleared the infield. Really struck that well.
Well, superb straight drive there. Good footwork, good hands, lovely straight swing of the bat.
That takes him into double figures. There it goes. Shiwag waiting at the striker's end. Safely taken by Warren.
That was a lazy shot. He didn't get over it at all.
Mongia takes his place at the crease. That's cleared the rope. 6 runs. That was still going up as it cleared the rope.
The bowler won't like that one little bit.
It's high in the air. That takes him into double figures. That's the end of the 15th over. Now the run rate stands at just over 4.5 and over. That is an excellent catch. Gurkha facing his first ball. He's gone, first ball. He really shattered the stumps with that one.
He didn't even get near that delivery. It totally beat him.
So then, that's the end of a Gurkha. Those are the first runs for Khan. Steered expertly into the gap. Gillespie at the start of his run-up. He's worked that into the gap. That's gone high in the air. Wasn't a very good delivery.
The batsman wasn't going to miss that opportunity. He was on it in a flash.
34 overs are left for India. Lee to begin a new over. The run rate stands at just under 4 and over. Stopped by Gillespie. Lee at the start of his run-up. The batsman will have to run these. It's high in the air. Looks in good form out there.
That was beautifully played. He was well over the top of the ball.
It's straight to a fielder. I think he was easily back in the crease there. Lee at the start of his run-up. Lee continues. That's gone high in the air. Mongia has now moved into the 20s. 33 overs are left for India. Gillespie to begin a new over. Now the run rate stands at just over 4 and over. Khan waiting at the striker's end. And 6. That went a long way back into the stands.
Exciting stuff. He took a risk, but was well rewarded as the ball disappeared over the fence.
Superb shot. That takes him into double figures. And 6. That was sheer power.
For the crowd, the hook is a spectacular action shot.
Safely taken by Harvey. Khan is making his way back to the pavilion. There it goes. That's the first boundary for tumbling. 32 overs are left for India. Lee to begin a new over. The required run rate is around 3.5 and over. Lee to Mongia. That's the slower ball from Lee. Super bowling there, it might just have done too much. Lee to bowl to Mongia. Over-pitched and driven for 4. That was a superb placement.
He gave the batsman too much room there. 4 runs.
Lee at the start of his run-up. He's gone over the top with that, and it looks like 4 runs. That was 4 the moment it left his back.
Well, it was in the air, but there's no one there. No risk.
Gillespie to begin a new over. Now the run rate stands at just over 3.5 and over. Stopped by Lee. Gillespie to bowl to Mongia. Well, it's going to reach the boundary. Super shot by Mongia.
The batsman wasn't going to miss that opportunity. He was on it in a flash.
110 runs required. That's the end of the 20th over. Lee to begin a new over. The required run rate is around 3.5 and over. Lee to bowl to Mongia. Stopped by Lee. Mongia waiting at the striker's end. .29 overs are left for India. Gillespie to tumbling. The required run rate is looking more and more out of reach here. That's straight up in the air. That takes him into double figures. Gillespie continues. It's high in the air. He's timing the ball perfectly today.
He hit that over the field superbly.
Got him! Gillespie has struck for Australia. That's straight up in the air. That's the first boundary for Srinath. It's high in the air. That was a very confident shot.
Well, superb straight drive there. Good footwork, good hands, lovely straight swing of it.
He's worked that into the gap. .28 overs are left in the innings. Srinath waiting at the striker's end. The run rate stands at just under 3 and over. He's worked that into the gap. Srinath moves into double figures with those runs. Lee at the start of his run-up. Short and smash for 4. Srinath is looking to punish any short deliveries.
Thanks very much. 4 runs. The bowler really needs to keep the ball up on this pitch.
There it goes. That was a shot straight out of the coaching manual.
Everything was in the right place there. It fairly raced away to the boundary. 10
runs came from that over for India. The new batsmen weren't faced for the time being. The run rate stands at just under 3 and over. It's high in the air. Gillespie to bowl to Mongia. Safely taken by Ponting.
That was a bad shot. He really seemed to lose concentration.
So to sum up then, Australia win by 79 runs.